This is Mark Zuckerberg's $150 million yacht, and it has features that you couldn't even imagine. But I'm also going to show you how he spent $200 million on a whole island, $60 million on a home, and so much more. But first, let's start with his jet. Mark Zuckerberg's Gulfstream G650 private jet is like his personal airborne throne room with a cool $5 million price tag. This flying luxury suite allows him to soar through the skies in style, and the best thing is that as far as we know, he doesn't even own it. He just uses Meta's money to travel with it. Mark probably spends his time up there pondering the most pressing questions of our time, like whether to add a love reaction or just stick with the classics. This beast can go up to 595 miles per hour. It can hold 18 passengers and 28 bags, and it's equipped with a super modern technology that detects turbulences and reduces their effects. It even has sound-reducing technologies, making its interiors the quietest out of every airplane, but keep in mind that this is the least expensive thing in this whole video. Now, while Mark Zuckerberg's Gulfstream takes him to the skies, his collection of wheels down on land is quite strange. When Facebook was just being created, Mark was going to a meeting with venture capitalist Peter Thiel, who was one of the earlier investors in Facebook. And the problem is, he was driving an old car at the time, a green Ford SUV, and it died on the freeway, so he was 3 hours late to the meeting with Peter, and Peter saw that Mark was getting out of a cab, so Mark explained to him what happened, and Peter just wrote to him a check for $50,000 to buy a new car. If this meeting hadn't been cancelled, we could have never had Facebook nowadays. Mark Zuckerberg, the master of humble appearances, often seems to appear with modest, low-cost cars on social media. He's usually seen driving a Honda Fit or a Golf, which cost respectively $5,000 and $10,000. You might spot him casually leaning against his Infiniti G25, flashing a self-deprecating grin that says, "I'm just like you, but here's the twist." Lurking in the shadows is his Pagani HRA. This masterpiece is an Italian supercar. It can reach speeds of up to 23 miles per hour, and it has 700 horsepower. Its cost is $1.5 million, but let's stop talking about his jets and cars. Where does he stay when he wants to chill out? This is the part where his spending starts to get crazy. While most people dream of a comfortable home, Mark seems to have a penchant for collecting houses like they're poker. It's rumored that his idea of a fixer-upper is a mansion that only has 20 bathrooms instead of 30, with more properties than he can probably remember. He's essentially playing a giant game of Monopoly, except instead of Baltic Avenue, he's buying entire neighborhoods. Who knows, maybe his ultimate goal is to build a Zuckerberg-themed amusement park. You know, you've made it when you can create your own real life, SimCity. Zuckerberg and his co-founders Muscovitz and Parker stayed at Apollo Alto House in Silicon Valley until they were kicked out in the summer of 2004 following an incident involving a zipline tied around a chimney and leading down to the pool. Probably awesome, but also probably not authorized in their lease agreement. Their new landlord was asked if she wanted some Facebook stocks instead of the rent, but she refused because she couldn't afford the risk. She said, "Maybe I wasn't meant to be a billionaire, but Mark has come a long way and he doesn't need to pay rent anymore." One of his first new homes was a 7,368-foot house, which he bought in November 2012 for $10 million plus $1.8 million in renovations. It has an office, a media room, a half bath, a laundry room and mudroom, a wine room, and a wet bar. The house was built in 1928, making it one of his oldest properties. He remodeled his kitchen and bathroom for $65,000, added a greenhouse for $60,000, and and remodeled the second and third floors for $800,000. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, he added a basement garage with a turntable bed that spins around to let cars get in and out, but keep in mind that this was his cheapest house. He leveled up when he bought a property in Palo Alto, exactly where he came from in Silicon Valley. Actually, he didn't buy one, he bought 5 of them, all adjacent to each other, for $50 million. He initially planned to tear them down, turning the entire area into a massive compound, but city officials prohibited him from doing so. The primary home is a 5,617-foot 5-bedroom, 5B wood-floored property which he purchased for $7 million. It also has some unusual amenities like a Facebook Cannon which launches great t-shirts and an AI assistant with the voice of Morgan Freeman which Zuckerberg built himself. Today, the mansion has a saltwater pool, a sunroom, an entertainment pavilion, a fireplace, a barbecue area, a spa, and front and back Porsches. The other 4 homes are used as guest houses and recreational facilities. This was obviously not enough for Zuck as he had to redo this whole process in Lake Tahoe, buying 2 adjacent properties and spending a total of $59 million. The first one was the Caruso Estate, which he bought for $25 million. This estate also comes with a pier that can hold 750-foot yachts. The home itself has 14 bedrooms and 11 bathrooms. They're part of the separate detached caretaker's quarters, and it comes with a 2-car garage. If you think that's impressive, the Caruso Estate is the smaller of the 2. The second property is the Brushwood Estate, which costs Zuck $45 million. It has 3 buildings, the main one is 6954 foot, and the 2 guest houses are respectively 2, 51, and 53 feet, but this is literally nothing compared to his most extreme dream purchase, his Hawaii properties. He went on a Hawaiian island called Kauai and bought 750 acres of land on a Hawaiian beach for $117 million. But he wasn't happy yet, so 3 years later, he decided to come back and buy another 89 acres for $45 million. He still wasn't done, so he paid $49.8 million for an 89.2% stake in Fella Beach, which has 3,993 acres of isolated oceanfront. He still wanted more, so he bought a sugar plantation of 375 acres adjacent to the beach for $66 million, which came with 2,500-foot white sand beach, a whole host of crops including 2 Marie pie, and ginger and animals like turtles and goats, but he couldn't be stopped. I've just noticed that Mark likes properties near the water, so of course he needs a $150 million yacht, and that's exactly what he bought. A super yacht called Ulysses. It has a private helicopter, a separate 24M tender boat, an extra 4x4 car, a motorcycle, a swimming pool, a spa, a gym, a cinema, and more. Well, it basically has everything you could think of. While I think about how incredible this yacht is, I can't help but think of how incredible my next video is going to be. Subscribe to see it.